Assalamualaikum and hi, we are from Group 4. We represent our Investment Analysis Group project. My name is Medina Izzati binti Syahada, metric number 288642. I represent Economic Analysis. Monetary policy. Monetary policy is the action that BNM takes to influence interest rates in the economy. The 2023, the MPC monetary policy concentration will focus on managing inflation risk, supporting sustainable economic growth. Fiscal policy. Fiscal policy refers to the practice of influencing the economy via the spending and taxing policies of the government. In more cases, government will use fiscal policy in order to foster strong and sustained economic development and to elevate poverty. Inflation rate. The Ministry of Finance revised its Economic and Fiscal Outlook 2023 report, predicting that Malaysia's inflation rate will rise to a range of 2.8% to 3.8% in 2023, influenced by slower economic prospects and stable commodity prices. Next, I will present industry analysis. The first company is Masing Group. Masing, a company dedicated to improving lives and exploring new opportunities, is focused on innovation, diversification, resource optimization, and stakeholder satisfaction. Masing anticipates a revenue growth rate of 32.11% in 2023. Threats pose potential risks to Masing's business models. The company faces challenges regarding institutional trust and the increasing threats of legal actions, particularly in enforcing regulation and laws in different markets. Furthermore, competition in product development from both international and local competitors poses a significant threat to Masing leadership in innovation within the construction services segment. The second company is Metric Concept. Metric Concept Holdings is a prominent developer in Malaysia focusing on residential, commercial, and industrial property development. The company maintained growth momentum with a 7.9% rise in profit after tax and common level net profit margin of 22.4% in 2021. The trend is identified in the slow projected earnings growth compared to the overall market, signaling potential challenges or competitive pressures. The last company is EcoWorld. EcoWorld Malaysia has been recognized for its sustainable practices, and economy has also achieved a 4-star rating in the FTSE for Good Index. In 2023, the revenue growth rate for EcoWorld is 0.04%. EcoWorld development has threats include the commoditization of the product segment and competition catching up with product development in the construction services industry.
Hi, Assalamualaikum Doctor. My name is Anisha Zwina binti Hazrul and number metric is 285177. Next, I will continue this presentation about fundamental analysis. This analysis to evaluate a company financial health, and there are three selected companies that our group chose, which is Masing Group, Metricom Size, and EcoWorld. There are a number of ratios that will be used in this analysis, and the data will be used from 2018 to 2022. The first ratio is current ratio. So, over the 5 past years, Masing has the highest current ratio compared to Metricom Size and EcoWorld. This means that Masing was more capable than the other two companies of using its current assets to settle its immediate debts. Next, quick ratio. Masing also has the highest quick ratio compared to Metricom Size and EcoWorld. This indicates that Masing is more liquid and more able to service its short-term debt through the use of its liquid assets. Next, account receivable turnover. EcoWorld has continued to improve its account receivable turnover ratio over the 5 years until it begins to outperform the other two companies. This indicates that the EcoWorld is more prudent in extending credit to consumers and more effective in its collection efforts than the other two companies. Inventory turnover. Masing has the highest inventory turnover ratio over a 5 years period compared to Metricom Size and EcoWorld. This implies that the Masing has larger sales than the other two companies. Meanwhile, EcoWorld keeps increasing its inventory turnover until it surpasses Metricom Size inventory turnover in 2021 and 2022. Next, total asset turnover. Based on the data, Metricom Size has the highest total asset turnover ratio, followed by Masing and the lowest by EcoWorld. Metricom Size is more efficient in generating more revenue from its asset compared to Masing and EcoWorld. Next, debt to equity. Metricom Size has the lowest debt to equity ratio, followed by Masing and EcoWorld. This means that Metricom Size has more equity financing than debt financing compared to the other companies and can be considered the least risky. Equity multiply. EcoWorld has the highest equity multiply of the three companies over the 5 years period. Therefore, Metricom Size is less risky among these three companies as it does not use too much debt to finance its assets, but more on its equity, while EcoWorld conversely relies heavily on debt.
Good day, sir. My name is Xiao Lian and my matrix number is 276990. So I will now move on to the following financial ratios. I will start by presenting the time interest earn ratio. As we can see very obviously from the graph, of the three companies, Matrix Concept has the highest time interest earn ratio, followed by Masing and the lowest by EcoWorld. This indicates that Matrix Concepts is the less risky as it is more capable of paying its interest expenses on time than the other two companies. Next, looking at the line graph for net profit margin, we can see that overall, EcoWorld has the lowest net profit margin, followed by Masing and Matrix Concept. This shows that when compared to the other two businesses, Matrix concept is the most effective at turning revenues into actual profit. Now look at the return on asset line graph. Overall, EcoWorld has the lowest return on asset, followed by Massing, while Matrix Concept has the greatest return on asset. This shows that, compared to the other firms, Matrix Concepts is the most effective company at making a profit from its assets. Moving on to return on equity, we can see from its line graph that, overall, Matrix Concepts has the highest return on equity. The second highest is Massing, and EcoWorld has the lowest return on equity. This shows that Matrix Concepts creates more value for its owner than the other two companies. Looking next at the trailing PE ratio, at its line graph shows, overall, Matrix Concepts has the lowest trailing PE ratio, following by EcoWorld and Massing. This indicates that more investors will buy Matrix Concepts share as investors can pay less for every dollar of earnings that they receive. Then, in terms of dividend payout ratio, Matrix Concepts rank top among the three firms, followed by Massing and EcoWorld. This shows that Matrix Concepts is the best option for investors since the firm will give them a high and consistent income. Finally, as the price-to-book value line graph shows, overall, Massing has the lowest price-to-book ratio, Matrix Concept has the highest, and EcoWorld is the second highest. This indicates that Massing, with lowest PB ratio, give investors signal that the stock might be undervalued. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you for the previous presenter. My name is Jung Ho and my matching number is 287076. I will talk about the intrinsic value of each company stock. We use three different methods to calculate the intrinsic value of the stock. The first one is dividend discount model, DDM, and followed with the free cash flow to equity model, FCFE, and the last one is price to earning model. In the outcome of DDM, the intrinsic value of the stock of Massing is 0.52, which is lower than the market price of 0.60. Hence, we can determine that the stock of Massing is overvalued. Besides, we found that Matrix Concept average sustainable growth rate is higher than the RS, so we assume that the growth rate will decrease to 3% in the future. However, the outcome of the intrinsic value is 4.39, which is much higher than the market price of 1.44. Hence, we can conclude that the stock of Matrix Concept is undervalued. Lastly, the EcoWorld's intrinsic value is 0.88, which is slightly higher than the market price of 0.80. Thus, the stock is undervalued. In a nutshell, according to DDM, the best company for investor to invest in is Matrix Concepts. As currently the stock is undervalued with a large gap between the intrinsic value and the market price. Next, let's move on to the calculation of FCFE. Based on FCFE, Massing has a high FCFE growth rate, and the intrinsic value of its stock is 0.65, which is higher than the market price of 0.60, indicating that the stock is undervalued. Besides, we expect that the Matrix Concept FCFE to grow only slightly in 2023 and beyond. The stock of Matrix Concept based on FCFE is overvalued as its intrinsic value is 0.68, which is below the market price of 1.44. And finally, the EcoWorld's FCFE is expected to decline in the coming years, as it grows at an average rate of negative 7.5%. The intrinsic value of 4.8 is higher than its current market price of 0.80, which means that the stock is undervalued. In short, investors are strongly advised to invest in EcoWorld, followed by Massing. This is because both of these stocks are undervalued by the market. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, good day, doctor. I'm Bwfn. Matrix number is 289801. I'll be presenting the PE model. From the graph, it can be seen that the intrinsic value for Massing is 0.71, which is higher than the market price of 0.615. This indicates that Massing stock is undervalued. Moving forward to Matrix Concepts, the stock is undervalued too, as the intrinsic value of 1.45 is higher than the market price of 1.41. Last is the EcoWorld. The intrinsic value and market price is equal at 0.81, indicating that EcoWorld's stock is fairly valued. Next, I will talk about the technical analysis. Technical analysis is divided into two. First is the Relative Strength Index, RSI. Second is the Moving Average Convergence or Divergence, also known as MACD. For Massing Group Berhad, RSI is 45.988, which is neutral, and the MACD level is negative 0.047. And the action that should have been made is to buy the stock. In the overall technical analysis, the result of moving average for Massing are sold with 10 out of 15. Continue with Matrix Concepts. RSI is 48.508, which is neutral, and the MACD level is 0.027, which is the best option for this stock. Matrix Concepts has a summary of sell, and its moving averages is also sold with 8 numbers of sell and 4 numbers of buy. Lastly, it is the EcoWorld. RSI of EcoWorld is 55.551, which is neutral, and the MACD level is 0.002, which is the action to buy the stock. EcoWorld has a summary of buy, which the number of buys is 12, and its moving averages is also buy with the number of buys is 10. Before ending the presentation, our group has decided that Matrix Concepts is the best among 3 companies as the overall perspectives are good. From the efficiency perspective, Matrix Concepts has the highest total asset turnover ratio, which indicates that it is the most efficient in generating more income from its assets. While from the leverage perspective, the debt to equity ratio from Matrix Concepts is the lowest, indicating that it relies on equity financing and can be considered the least risky. Moreover, Matrix concept is the least risky as it has the lowest equity multiplier, indicating that it does not use too much debt to finance its assets, and the highest times interest earned, indicating that it is more able to pay its interest expenses on time than the other two companies. From the profitability perspective, Matrix Concepts has highest net profit margin, return on assets, and return on equity, indicating that it is the most profitable and can most effectively generate profits from its assets and equity. From the dividend discount model and price to earning model, Matrix Concepts is undervalued because its market price is lower than its intrinsic value. Investors are more likely to buy Matrix Concepts stock. That's all from us. Thank you.